right, we are right back into another, yes, another deck profile for a Dragon Ball Super card game. This one is going to be the new mono blue Hiru promo Annoyance. Yeah, we'll just go with that. Anyway, so this is this is the deck that I have that I've been playing for the last month, just like the baby deck that I just posted. If you haven't checked that one out, check that one out. It's pretty good. I don't mind it, not at all. I don't mind this one at all either. It's very straightforward. Both of them are very straightforward, and they both kind of play into the promo. Both promos that are coming out this month. Well, in February, depends on whenever I do I do post this. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be next month when I do post this. Anyway, neither here nor there, right? And the thing about this is that this promo and as well as the baby one both really cater towards the combo and as well as the engine for both of them. So for the baby deck, it made that engine very, very viable and very fast. For this one, it's not so much of fast, but more of useful. And I think you had to jump through so many hoops in order to get the engine going for the Hiru engine. And with the addition of this new promo, which is the 7-drop Premonition of Evil, it makes it a lot better. And I just want to kind of go into it. So this guy kind of doesn't need he doesn't really need any introduction, right? I don't think so. But when he does attack a leader card, you may choose one battle card from your hand and place it into a drop area, and then draw 2 cards. A lot of the time, the target is going to be Tapion, and it's going to be really any battle card that you really don't need. If you have duplicates of something, etc., etc., it could be Minosha as well. But Minosha and Tapion are definitely going to be the targets for any of this, or whenever you do this. And of course, when you attack, draw 1 card, and if you have 4 or more energy, your opponent chooses 1 card from their hand and places it on top of the deck. We'll come back to that, and this is what really makes a Hiru so good. Not only from the draw 2, but also the 4 energy, and every single turn with Phantom Plane Cannon, you choose they're choosing 1 card, or you choose 1 card and place it on top of the deck. And it's sort of like it's always it's always the Bergamo thing, or whatever his name is, from Doctor Strange. It reminds you every single time. When you get into this loop with the 9-drop out, the Phantom Flame Cannon, and as well as the leader card, it is amazing. And it feels pretty good to annoy the shit out of whoever you're playing against. So what do we have? We have the Hiru engine, and I already have it out here. So we have this guy, Phantom Flame Cannon, one of these, this guy, and then this guy. So we play 4 of the Minoshas, 4 of the Phantom Flame Cannon because it's so good, and then 2 of the Wanderer, 1 of the Impenetrable Defense, 3 of him, and then 3 of him. So the reason why we play these ratios, as I just add in the Hoi, because why not? The reason why we play the ratios is because you really need to see Minosha. Minosha is really important to the Premonition of Evil, because the Premonition of Evil says if you have both Tapion and Minosha in your drop area and a Phantom Flame Cannon, wow, Phantom Demon is not in your battle area, you get to play this card from your hand without paying the energy cost. And it gains 10k from the turn during your turn, which means you're never going to attack with it. It is a 20k blocker, which this is all about control, all about surviving, that sort of thing. I've never used him as a blocker, but I can see how he can be a little bit useful when you don't have him. So cool. Anyway, we'll come back to that and why that's important. But for him, for Minosha, again, he's going to be a target for when you drop a card from your hand using the leader skill, because when your leader card is a Phantom Demon, you choose 1 of the Hiru the Wanderer from your deck and add it to your hand. The reason why I play 2 of them is because he's not very useful in this. He's kind of like a really back there, like China kind of back there when you're in the US, like a plan, you know. But it's a very like, you know, come on, I don't like playing him. It's just not good. You play him for 2, and then you pay 3 to warp a Tapion, and you choose 1 Impenetrable Defense Hiru. You only play 1 of them because he's not very useful outside of the Wanderer. If you want to put this up to 2, you can. It's just that the deck space is a little tight as is, so I don't really recommend it. But that is why I have him, and that's why I have him, just so we can thin out the deck, and as well as have an extra card in our hand for comboing our energy, and as well as a backup plan if really needed. or if need be. So there you go. And then Phantom Flame Cannon, if you didn't know already, leader card is a Hiru gun, and then gains 10k for the racing the battle. And then you choose one of your opponent's battle cards and place it on top of the deck. I think against a lot of aggressive decks, this is an underrated card, I think, because on defense or offense, you can go ahead and choose one from their hand and place it on top of the deck. So if they're planning to do some sort of combo and then draw again, you have to force them to actually put one on top of the deck and then go from there. Basically, like it kind of messes up everything. Instead of put on the bottom or whatever, they get to see their cards over and over again, especially with the leader effect, especially with the 9-drop. But overall, Phantom Flame Cannon, really underrated card. If you're playing Hiru mono blue, you're going to be playing this card. I already kind of explained Hiru the Wanderer, and as well as the impenetrable defense, but if you needed to know, if you do get this guy out with the Wanderer, because you're not going to be playing 7, he does have barrier, and then when they attack with one of their cards, the eluded card is a Phantom Demon, which it is. You may send this card and warp the card, one in the card from your hand, and negate the attack and play it after your main phase. So it's pretty much a baby Hiru of this card, and we'll get to that in a second. So again, this guy you get to play for free as long as you have Tapion and Minosha. And again, just so we can have him out there, since wow, I can't spell Tapion apparently. Just so we can have the whole engine out, we do play 3 or 4 of the Ults Power Tapion, which you play the card, you choose 2 cards from your life or up to 2 of them, and then you place one of their battle cards with 5 or less on top of their owner's deck. And of course, you can play this to awaken, but you can always pitch it if you know that you're going to be attacked over and over again. So it's really up to you, and it really depends on the situation in the deck you're playing against. But overall, very, very annoying to deal with, just like all these other cards. And when you do have both of them, what's the cool thing about this is that you kind of do nothing until you get to 4 energy. You just draw, you play defense, you pretty much thin out your deck and see other cards. It just really depends on what you're playing against. You might have to change up your style against like Broly. You might have to change up your style against like Pan or whatever, right? Which Chain Attack is probably the worst deck to go against for this one. Any other deck outside of maybe Broly GT or something like that, this deck can wreck. Like this deck is just like so. It's so like cruise control. It's just like you play the chain, you play all the other cards, and you just win. So yeah. Anyway, what makes him really good is that you play him for free, and then you have 4 energy, and then this guy has a evolve cost for 4. You play on top of him. When you play this card, you choose one of their opponent's battle cards and one from their hand, and you place it on top of their deck. And what's really good about him is that he has barrier. He's a 30,000 attacker, and then anytime they attack, it doesn't matter. Just like the other 7-drop over here, you get to place this card and as well as 1 card from your hand to the warp, negate the attack, and it plays from the warp the next turn. So again, a lot of people are forgetting this, and this is why it's important to understand this as we go into these new promos. Is that when you play this card, the on auto effect or on play effects happen again. So again, after you play this card, he goes into attack or active mode with he's still buried at 30,000, and then you choose one of their battle cards and choose one of their hand and place it on top of the deck right after. So they basically go through this every single time they attack, and it's very, very funny, very, very annoying, and it helps a lot with the engine as well as the plan that you're playing. Just so good. Like honestly, it's just such a good card. It's just really good that we got that support and made it a little bit faster. And of course, Hoi, you ditch 1 card to your drop area, you draw 2 cards. Best super combo, if not one of the top 3 super combos that we have. And now that's the main engine when it comes down to the Hiru engine and how you play it. The other cards are kind of support cards. So obviously we have Sensu Bean. If you're playing control and you're playing into an engine, to get to that engine, to survive into that, Sensu Bean, 5k for the turn, choose up to 2, switch to active mode. Just self-explanatory. Same thing for Dimension Magic. So we play 4 of those as well. And the thing about this is that you can use this as a awakening. So early into the game, like turn 2 or 3, you could be using this. You could be using Unbreakable, which I'll add in a second, and then you could be using the choose 1 battle card and ditch it and draw 2. And the more you do that, the closer you get to sparking 5, which is very important for the other cards that you play. It's a bummer that this one has to be sent to the warp instead of the drop, but I can understand the premise behind it. So yeah, just be careful and make sure that you do get to the Sparking 5, so that way you can fill up your drop area as soon as possible. And you're not playing mono blue without Mafuba, so we played 2 of them. You negate the attack, you place it on top of the card, and then they can't take it off the card until, you know, their end of the next turn. At the end of the opponent's next turn, place the card. Yeah, you already know. Of course, lastly, like I was saying before, Unbreakable is one of those staples that you do have to use. Well, maybe not have to use, but it's really good to use, not only for the leader effect that you have another battle card to ditch, but also to draw one and as well as have a 10k combo. It's probably not the best to have in your hand too long, but with Sense of Being as well as all the other cards that you use, like Phantom Flame Cannon, it can help a lot as far as to survive and keep the draw up. And again, very super important to keep the drop area very high. And the reason for that is because, and I want to formally apologize for including this side of the deck to Joey from Crossworld TCG. I know how this is going to hurt you, but we're playing Gogeta 7 in this, so we're playing 2 of the Gogeta 7. And the reason for that is because of the synergy behind Sneak Attack Vegeta and as well as Preface. So the thing about these guys is that not only are they going to be the targets for Gogeta, and you're not going to get to that too early into the game. You might see them early as far as cards to ditch with the leader card, especially if you have multiples in your hand. But Sneak Attack Vegeta is really good because it plays into the Hirudegan archetype. So if Hiru revived isn't going to be a plan or an option for you, you can just play the Vegetas out and then just continue to go through and use the 9-drop in order to put more cards on top of the deck, and as well as Phantom Flame Cannon along with it. So and it has barrier, so it's really hard to remove. Same thing for Preface. He just is a 1 cost 15k body and a Gogeta target. So very cool. And I'll kind of explain that right after I add in Shrouded. So this is the deck, right? The idea behind it is that you go through the entire engine the first 3 turns, right? So you play out obviously the Minutia to ditch and draw cards, and then you get to 4 energy, you play out the 7-drop, you play out the 9-drop right after and make them top deck 2 cards, and then right after that you play the Gogeta with Sparking 10 and then 5 energy, and then awaken from there. So you can awaken after the 9-drop, or you can just awaken after Gogeta. And it really just depends. It really depends on how you play, and it depends on what you're playing against, etc, etc. But it's very important that you are ditching as many Minotras as you can, Sense of Being as much as you can, Dimension Magic as much as you can, and then comboing as much as you can, so that way you have 10 in the drop by the time you have 5 energy. And when you do that, you drop them to 7 cards, or to 3 cards. And depending on how many times you attacked, depending on what you've done already, you can go ahead and attack with Triple Strike. You can just pass turn and then save your Phantom Flame Cannons, and then attack with Leader, make them top deck 1. Phantom Flame Cannon after that, make them top deck another, and then they're with 1 or 2 cards and maybe even 0 depending on your hand, and then you swing with Gogeta to end the game. And of course, Fu Shrouded in Mystery is kind of the backup plan to all that. Because you already have 10 in the Sparking, if all goes right, you can use a 6 energy after 5 here and then negate everything on their board, and as well as their hand. So really, the whole thing is about control. It's about getting to the 7 or the 7 into the 9 and into Gogeta and then into Fu. So I mean, if you're going to be mulliganing, Gogeta might be a good choice for that, and then all the other pieces in order for you to ditch into the drop area and as well as continue to defend. So very fun deck, very annoying deck, and that's kind of why I named it that. But overall, you know, I think this is probably the best place that Hirudegan can be in a fair world. I think this is exactly where he needs to be within his archetype. I don't think he needs to be taken back to the Storm days. I don't think he needs to be taken to the Red Blue days, even though I love Red Blue Hirudegan. You know, I think this is exactly where he was built for, and I think this is probably one of the better decks I've played with Hiru, and I think it just kind of flows from it. If you have any suggestions, anything that you think should be changed, definitely comment below. You know, I don't make perfect decks. I never say that I do. Even when I started this channel, I said that I'm not gonna be perfect. These are decks that you can take from and as well as build off from. And I only hope to inspire for you to play and as well as to build. But let me know what you think below. Overall for the deck, if you're looking for gameplay, just like I said for the Baby Vegeta deck, I will put this on the list for Friday Night Fights and as well as the Battle Series. I have a lot of stuff backed up for that, but definitely go check out all the other Battle Series videos, even the custom one that I did. But overall, like, comment, subscribe for more of these promo decks. I plan to do at least 2 more. I need to build out the decks and make sure that they're tested out. I have the ideas for them, I just haven't done anything for it. That includes the Piccolo one and as well as the Demigra one. But if you want the Path to Greatness one, again, go check out Eggman's channel for Joel's deck. Again, that's probably the best version that you can play with the Broly leader. And if anything, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Later.